Football Barbie, where we talk about anything and everything football. I do have my special guest here, Mr. Michael Sartine. He's extremely knowledgeable about football. He also does have his own podcast, which I will link below. It's very interesting, and you definitely wouldn't want to miss out. I've been on it. I loved it. So I wanted to talk about how DraftKings every year posts their predictions for teams of their over-under, and let's see, do we actually think that the teams are going to be able to hit that based on the schedule that they have this year? Starting with the NFC East.
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished?
The NFC East, apparently the Eagles are a 10.5 for over-under. I want to know your opinion. Do you think that based on their schedule that they would be able to get the over-under? So their first week is the Patriots, then they go to the Vikings, Bucks, Commanders, Rams. What do you think?
I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of a hangover, you know, after going to the Super Bowl. The team that loses the Super Bowl generally doesn't make the playoffs the next year. I'm curious to see how that works with this team. They have lost a few players in free agency. They did get Slay back, which I think a lot of people were surprised by that. I know they lost the Gravedigger to he went to San Francisco. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they're the most talented team. Do I think they're better? I think top to bottom they're more talented than the Cowboys. That would be my only other prediction to win the division.
Okay.
So right now, would I say over 10? Yeah, I think they could do over 10. It's a 17-game season. I definitely think unless there's some kind of unless there is some issue with somebody getting injured, I definitely think that they could win 10. Also, I just love the receivers, man. A.J. Brown is just such a monster to me.
I honestly thought that he was one of the reasons why we even went that far in the begin with. Because the fact that we picked up A.J. Brown, he just did phenomenal. And going to the games, I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
Like, let's say if I look at the Patriots, like, I think we have a chance to beat the Patriots. I think we have a chance to beat the Vikings, the Bucks, the Commanders, Rams. I'm curious to see how we do play against the Jets with now Aaron Rodgers being on the Jets.
Yeah.
Dolphins, I said, I think the Dolphins are going to be a really good team this year. As long as Tua remains healthy, I think that the Dolphins could give us a run for our money. Commanders, I just don't think the Commanders personally are a great team. Obviously, every time the Eagles play the Cowboys, which Michael is a Cowboys fan, you know, that's always an interesting game. We never know which way it's going to go. I feel like it's always becomes a 1-1 situation.
Yeah.
Like, we win one and lose one against you guys. Then we got to buy the Chiefs. I would love to see the Chiefs not win against us because I'm going to the game. It's definitely one game I go to. It'll be a rematch of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's definitely going to be an extremely hard game. I'm curious to see if they can pull it out. We do have the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen obviously is a beast, so that's going to be a hard one too. I know the 49ers, everyone's looking forward to that game. That's the rematch against Brock Purdy, but you said now Brock Purdy is not
I don't
going
know.
to.
Brock Purdy might not be the starter at that point.
Yeah, that'll be in December. So then the Cowboys again. Seahawks, I don't know how GENO Smith's going to do this year. You don't think he's going to do as good as last year?
It's not that. I just feel like GENO Smith was in a situation where there wasn't a ton of pressure on him. It's really one of these, you really realize when you watch GENO Smith what a curse it is to play for the Jets. Like, he looked like a bumbling idiot for the Jets and looked like an all-pro quarterback playing for Seattle.
I thought he did great on Seattle
but
last year.
Like, you see the arm strength, you see his ability to make reads, to throw the ball out of the pocket, and you're like, this was all there with the Jets, but he looked so bad. And now he wasn't going to, I mean, he was just a throwaway starter. We all understand when they got rid of Russell Wilson, GENO Smith is just the next replacement level quarterback you got, and they figured out a way for him to become a Pro Bowler. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, I feel like we have a good chance to maybe beat the Giants. I'm curious to see what happens to Saquon Barkley, whether he's going to sign with the Giants or not.
Just get hurt again going to the store.
And then what about the Cardinals? I mean, I'm pretty sure we get the Cardinals beat.
I think the Cardinals have the worst roster, 53-man roster in the NFL. I think the Cardinals we might see them start to tank after the third game. They are absolutely confused. Yeah.
Okay, and then the Giants again. So I think that we have a chance to get maybe 10, 11 wins. You know, it's in the NFC for sure. Now, what do you think about Dallas?
Okay,
so Dallas is 9.5.
So I understand the minutia of my favorite team a little bit more than most people. Terrence Steele being injured, and then he's going to come back. Terrence Steele is our swing tackle or right tackle. It's kind of this weird thing where the Cowboys have this rookie who plays left guard, and they want him to play left tackle. Terrence Smith got hurt, so he's playing left tackle. When Terrence Smith came back, they put him at left tackle, put Terrence Smith at right tackle. And I don't want to get too much into the shell game here, but the thing is, when they're all healthy, that offensive line was really good, and the Cowboys were really good. As things got progressively worse, you started seeing them having a couple of problems. The other thing is, I don't know how much of a difference Tony Pollard would have made, but Tony Pollard had a high ankle sprain in that San Francisco divisional round, and he is, to me, at that point, the most explosive player on offense for the Cowboys was Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you have another year of Micah Parsons.
He was franchise tagged. He hasn't signed it yet.
I believe that's true. Yeah. The thing was, Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the league. I know he didn't win Defensive Player of the League, but also, Bosa? Bosa's not playing defense. Bosa's not covering running backs out of the backfield. No. Micah Parsons is a stand-up linebacker who's probably the most gifted pass rusher in the NFL right now. Okay. He's going to break every record when his payday comes up. They're going to pay him everything. I think the Cowboys upgraded it at cornerback. I think they've upgraded at linebacker. I think one of the things that's going to happen is their first-round pick, Mozzie Smith, looks like he's a really, really good player. He's one of the strongest players in the draft. He's a freak athlete. I think with the Cowboys, you can take back the same, and that roster is really deep, and it's really good. It's not as deep as what they have in Philadelphia. The question is, if you say a pure passer, I think Dak Prescott is as good as Jalen Hurts. But if you include Jalen Hurts' feet, I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback. The thing is right now is ever since Dak Prescott had that compound fracture of his ankle, he doesn't.
Didn't he break his leg or something?
Yeah, compound fracture. He fractured it. Yeah, but after that happened, they just don't. It's not that he can't run. It's just they don't run him as much anymore. He was by far the best running quarterback near the goal line in the NFL, and they just stopped doing that. I think if they get that, here's a huge thing: is Gallup. Getting Michael Gallup back at 100%, he can be a legit number 2 for you. I think the Cowboys. I can see the Cowboys. The over-under is 9.5. I'm going to give the over for that one as well.
Okay, so let's see. So you think they would beat the Giants?
Yes, I think they're better than the Giants.
Jets?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to beat the Jets. But I don't know if the Jets are going to be the Jets after 2 games. After Aaron Rodgers is playing with players he's never played with before. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has to see.
And the Jets have to come to Dallas. I don't know.
Yeah, so let's see. At Cardinals,
they're going to win the Cardinals. I'm telling you, I could see the Cardinals losing like 15 games.
That's pretty harsh, but I think that'll be true.
Yeah.
At 49ers, do you think you'll beat the 49ers?
So the 49ers are, again, tough that early in the year. They're not going to have a starting quarterback. It's tough to say. I don't know. I would say probably the Cowboys could beat them, yeah.
What about the Chargers? Because I don't think that personally the Chargers are fantastic.
They have some really interesting problems. I don't really know. When I see Bosa and when I see Khalil Mack, you would expect them to play better, but Khalil Mack was not a very good player near the end of the season last year. I don't know, man. I think the Chargers really underperformed at the end of the year, but I could not have a higher opinion of their quarterback. I really think he didn't play well.
I think their quarterback's great, but as for the rest of the team, I think they're kind of going this right now.
Listen, they got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and they got what's his face, Parham. I do think they've got a really good team. I don't know. I think they could beat the Chargers.
Then you play the Rams.
I think they're going to beat the Rams. I think the Rams are going to have a couple of years in the wilderness because they mortgaged their entire future to win that Super Bowl.
I agree on that one. Then obviously you played the Eagles. Like I said, I feel like for the Eagles, it's always kind of a 1-1 with Dallas.
Yeah, I can see the Eagles go 1-1. I think they probably lose this one to the Giants. As far as the Panthers, I think the Panthers are going to be not very good. I think they're going to lose one to the Commanders. I'd probably beat Seattle, and then I said probably win this one against the Eagles. They're not as good as Buffalo. They just aren't. I think they are as good as the Dolphins,
especially if Josh Allen everybody says healthy. Yeah.
The Lions have an issue to where their offense is so good and their defense is so bad. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix that, but this is probably the last year that they have to try to figure that out. And I think the Commanders are going to be a joke. I
agree.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be a problem. When we go to the Giants, I'll just tell you right now, Daniel Jones, when we were talking about do you give the guy money or do you not give the guy the money, Daniel Jones is one of the guys I don't give the money to. I don't see.
Okay.
I don't see significant.
I don't think he's a star quarterback.
I won't even see him as a top 10 quarterback. I think if you take away his.
Do you think Eli was?
I think as far as throwing the football, I think he was a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, okay. I think he was a good top 10 quarterback. But you did. Even with Eli, you're not talking about this kind of money though. Yeah. Like when he was playing. I think with Daniel Jones, with them giving him that level of money, first off, I think Saquon has to go. I don't think you can keep Saquon once you do that with the Daniel Jones situation. But I think the second problem is with Daniel Jones is that it's one of these things where Lamar Jackson is still a passable quarterback if he's not as fast as he is. I think a lot of people think that Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball, and he definitely can. I think if you take away Daniel Jones' ability to run, and Daniel Jones is scary fast. You don't realize how fast he is until you watch him play.
Yeah, that's true.
If you take away his ability to run, I don't think he's a top 20 quarterback. I think the way he turns the ball over is horrendous.
I think well, I mean, now Dak did have a lot of interceptions though towards the second half
but
of last year.
if you go watch those last 4 interceptions, one of them he hits Noah Brown in both hands. The ball bounces out of both of Noah Brown's hands, and then it's a pick six. There's one of them.
I do feel bad when the quarterback throws the ball correctly, and then the interception counts against them.
The one before that, the interception before that, he's literally grabbed in the arm while he's throwing. Like if you go back and watch the last 5 or 6 interceptions he threw. Now against San Francisco, no, those were bad. One of them was bad. One of them he actually hit the receiver in the hands and he just didn't catch the ball. But the Cowboys had this really bad problem where they were snake bit throwing the ball underneath, and the receivers would drop the football. And I think that's the problem. I'm talking more than half of his interceptions were not his fault. He was either getting hit in the arm while he was throwing it, or is a situation where he's hitting the guy in the hands. There were several situations where there were a couple of where he just airmailed it. And there was really bad reads, but he had a disproportionately high number of interceptions, especially for any point in his career. But if you look at the rest of his career, he is not a guy who throws a ton of interceptions.
Okay.
I think that has more to do with Terrence Steele getting injured than it has to do with Dak Prescott regressing.
So yeah, for the Giants, they're 8.5. So I mean, yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat the Cowboys. I think sometimes for our division, it really is 1-1, except for the Commanders. When the Commanders beat the Eagles, and that was the first team to beat us, I was highly upset over that last season. I'm like, that's the team that makes us lose our winning streak.
The problem is you have a front office in disarray, and you don't know. You can't. So one of the things people don't understand is that when you realize Daniel Snyder's going to lose the team, he's already agreed to sell it. When it comes back to the Washington Redskins, or the Commanders, one of the issues that happens is, I don't know if you remember when Katrina happened, the New Orleans Pelicans, the New Orleans Hornets had to leave and play in Oklahoma City, and the ownership group defaulted or something. I forgot what happened, but the NBA took over ownership of the Hornets, which are now called the Pelicans.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when that happened, they weren't allowed to sign deals more than 4 or 5 years long because they didn't know if the ownership group was going to be able to afford it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have the same situation with the Commanders, where even though there's a salary cap, there's bonuses, there's money that has to be put aside in escrow, and you don't know who this new owner is going to be, and that level of uncertainty causes you to not, as a front office, not know who you can acquire and who you can draft. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they're limited in that way somehow. And the other thing is, you just have a dysfunctional front office when you have a megalomaniacal sociopath like Daniel Snyder running your team, who's a sexist and a racist. It's really difficult for you to figure out, what to do in your front office.
So do you think, let's see, the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys the first week?
No.
Okay. What about, obviously, you think they'll probably beat the Cardinals?
Yeah, I think they'll beat the Cardinals.
I don't think they'll beat the 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers can win with different type of quarterbacks. So yeah, I think 49ers will be pretty good.
Seahawks, Giants. Seahawks are coming to Giants.
If I was going to look at this, I would say the team that I actually seeing having a drop off is the Dolphins. I see them having a problem, and I could also see Buffalo having a drop off that I think a lot of people aren't going to recognize. I right now seeing Stephon Diggs sit out, I think is a really bad sign. So I don't really know how that whole thing's going to work out. Commanders, I don't think are pretty good. I don't know. Is Wentz their quarterback again this year? I don't remember.
I'm honestly not sure. The Commanders, I think, are a joke.
The Raiders are actually a joke. The Raiders have made incredibly, drafting Leatherwood in the first round.
What about Garoppolo? Do you think Garoppolo's going to be better than Carr?
No. Garoppolo is exactly what I said before. Garoppolo is Geno Smith. Garoppolo is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Garoppolo is Jameis Winston. Garoppolo is Dalton. He's Andy Dalton. He's just someone to get you by until you can draft a good player. If Garoppolo was good, then San Francisco wouldn't have tried twice to get rid of him. If Garoppolo was good, then the Patriots wouldn't have traded him away. Garoppolo is good, and then you put him in a bad situation, and he's not that good. Okay, he's good at dating porn stars. He's not good. He's not good at making reads down the field. Garoppolo is, definitely deserves to be in the NFL. Probably going to finish in the league in the top 20. Is he more gifted than Derek Carr? He actually isn't. I think Carr is more gifted. Carr just has this serious problem where he doesn't want to change as a quarterback. There's this thing that happens to quarterbacks where they mature and they get to the point where that's just a bad throw it away. Let's do it. No hero ball. Let's not take any chances. Yeah. And you see that a lot of times with Tom Brady. You see that a lot of times with Aaron Rodgers. And they wait till the end of the game. The defense is tired. You've seen everything they have to throw at you, and then you go out and you that fourth quarter touchdown. Derek Carr has none of that in him. When Derek Carr is under pressure, he chunks the bitch down the middle of the field, and he throws interception after interception, and then he goes to the locker room, and he looks like he's about to cry. He is just not mentally He is not mentally, like, when I watch him, it just, everything about him wearing mascara when he fucking plays, he just doesn't look like a fucking leader.
What?
Yeah, he does. He wears mascara. Look at the videos. Like, he does. No, he wears eye black. Like, here, it looks like mascara. He's just one of these, like, really, like, he's a guy who looks like he cares more about benching 400 pounds than he cares about playing quarterback. And I've just never.
What do you think about the Raiders that now that Tom Brady is possibly going to become a minority owner?
I mean,
do you think it'll better?
That'd be great, but it's not going to change their front office. Their front office is still made up of former NFL commentators. Like, it's really bad. Like, they just made so many bad draft picks, one after another, just going out like Ruggs, which they took him way too fucking high. I mean, forget about the fact that he killed someone and ended up going to jail.
Right around the corner from my house.
Yeah, forget about that. The fact that they took him way too high. They took him ahead of CD Lamb. How does that looking for you? Idiots. Like,
Yeah.
when I watch the Raiders, it's just one of these teams that are like, no, we're going to take our guy. We're going to take who we want to take where we want to take him. And it's like, no, the rest of the league is letting you know how your draft picks look. And you took Leatherwood way too high. He's not even on your fucking team anymore. And like, it's just one of these things where over and over again, you just see a team that doesn't know what it's doing with itself. Now, trading Waller was probably a good idea. It's very indicative of a team that knows what they're doing. When you have a player that's of high value, you get rid of him on the upswing. You get as much as you can from him. Those draft picks come back, and now you have cheaper labor. Higher draft picks give you cheaper labor. That's actually really
smart way, yeah.
Higher draft picks give you cheaper labor. Does that make sense? And that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's what it works later on.
So let's see. Raiders. You think the Giants will probably beat the Raiders? I'm trying to actually go to that game. We're going to probably go.
Will the Giants beat the Raiders? That's interesting. I think the Giants are better than the Raiders. Yeah.
Okay. What about the Cowboys? Giants at Cowboys for the second week.
No, I think the Cowboys are going to be.
You think Cowboys will take both games against Giants?
The thing with the Cowboys, these are regular season games. The Cowboys just play really well in the regular season. If you look, like, I think they're like top 5 in the NFL in like the last 5 years in regular season wins.
And what did they do? Choke in the playoffs?
Yeah, they just choke in the playoffs. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Or somebody gets hurt. Like, that's just the way true. The Cowboys are. The Cowboys are really, really good at managing a football team's finances, and they're really, really good at drafting players. They're just really, really bad at picking who to pay and who not to pay. When it's a no-brainer like Michael Parsons, they're going to give him the biggest contract in history, but he deserves the biggest contract in history. But when it's somebody like Jalen Smith, or if it's somebody like Zeke Elliott, they're morons. And when it's somebody like Byron Jones, they let him go. You have an all-world level, or Chidibie Awuzie, they let him go to the Bengals, and he ends up being second-team All-Pro. How is that possible that you just let this guy go and your defensive backfield is this terrible? But you paid Zeke? You're an idiot. Like, this is just so stupid.
I think the Giants will probably beat the Commanders. I don't know about the Patriots, though. I'm curious to see if the Giants could maybe pull off a win against the Patriots.
I don't know what to expect from the Patriots. I don't know. Like, I could definitely see Mac Jones being replaced after like the second game.
I seen that Buffalo apparently took one of their people this year. They signed one of their players this year. So that'll be interesting to see. So I don't know. I think that the Packers are going to be interesting. Not really sure what to expect from the Packers right now with Jordan Love as their quarterback. I mean, they finally got a couple more people that Aaron Rodgers had wanting as more weapons, but not really sure what's going to happen with that.
When you look at a team like the Packers, you're going to see a team that expects to be in transition. Just same thing. Like, it's the reason why the Texans kept Davis Mills. Like, it's just one of these things where you have a team that's not that great, and you know as a front office you're not going to be that great. So let's not go get that big name free agent. That's the reason why they let Brandon Cooks go from the Texans. They just kind of know where they are, and you're going to see the same thing happen with the Cardinals. That's the reason why DeAndre Hopkins was just let go.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not the time for us to pay you. Would be a waste of our resources and your time because you're not going to win here.
Exactly. At the Saints, I don't know. I'm curious to see, though, now that Derek Carr went to the Saints, what is the capability?
I don't think they're going to be very good. I just don't he doesn't move the needle. There's nothing special about Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a quarterback. He's definitely deserves to be in the NFL. If you told me Derek Carr was the 15th best rated quarterback in the NFL next year, I wouldn't be surprised. But there's nothing specific about, like, again, we don't even know if Alvin Kamara is going to play.
That's what I'm really curious about.
My issue is, like, do they have a talented football team? Yes. Do they have but they've lost, Sean Payton was, to me, the reason why that offense was so good.
I agree.
He's now
what
gone.
Happens with Denver.
The biggest mystery to me, yes, is can Sean Payton unlock Russell Wilson?
I 100% agree, because I thought Russell played well in Seattle.
Yes.
But literally, I mean, if you watch the memes from last year of Russell Wilson, he looks like you're blind.
The problem with the way he played in Denver is that he wasn't doing the same thing and worse. He was doing completely different shit. Like, he looked like he had a stroke. Like, there were situations where guys were wide open, and for you to become that bad, that means, what does that mean? That means that something was going on in Seattle where they were giving kind of a one read offense, and he was doing the best with what they gave him, meaning like he had less responsibility in Seattle than we thought, but he was really good at taking advantage of what they gave him. And I think they try. What I'm saying is he's Jimmy Garoppolo, but they treated him like he's Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's what happened. And I think Denver will figure that out. The thing is, if someone can figure that out, it's Sean Payton. Sean Payton, I think, can figure out a way to unlock this guy, better than Ciara did when, after she had a baby with Future, deciding to, marry a fucking virgin. I don't know how he does that. Have you heard about him doing the fucking the wind sprints on the plane after the game?
The plane thing was great. Like they said that the guys were so mad on the plane because he's trying to do practice, and then he still lost.
Listen, that's the thing that happened when your quarterback is, married to, someone else's baby's mama and he's autistic. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. Yeah. You don't know what to do there.
So I'm really curious with Saints. I don't know what's going to happen with them this year. I mean, Alvin Kamara's up in the air.
If he divorces Ciara, I think they have a good year. I think that's what that goes.
Really? You think it could be based off?
She for everybody. Anyway, go ahead.
Then you have the Eagles. So I think that we'll probably maybe win that one. I hope so, because I plan on going to that game on Christmas. And then the Rams. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know how the Rams are going to do. I don't know if the Rams are going to be.
Yeah, I just don't like. I just think the Rams have no depth. I think you're going to see a team with an all-world defensive tackle and an all-world. Oh no, they got rid of Jalen Ramsey, and the rest of them. They're just going to pay for the mistakes. Not mistakes. They won a Super Bowl, but they're going to pay for that Super Bowl for the next couple of years.
I agree. And then obviously the Eagles again. I don't know. I think the Eagles and Giants could go 1-1. I mean, I think the Giants do the capability
I would take the under though on the Giants, and I'll just give you a hint here because we looked at all the schedules. I'm going to take the under on the Commanders too. I don't think the Commanders are going to win 7 games.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that. So I'd be curious to see, because Cardinals, that's kind of a toss-up. I mean, Commanders not good. Cardinals not good. Who's really going to win that game?
Well, the difference is the Commanders have talent. The Commanders have Scary Terry. The Commanders have like really good players than to do have Young.
I just don't think everybody meshes well on that team.
I still think they have enough. I think they have more talent than the Cardinals. I think more talent than Cardinals. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Scary Terry. Yeah, I mean, I think that the chance for that. As for the Broncos, like I said, I think it all depends right now. If Sean Payton is able to change the Broncos, then the Commanders will lose. If that's the case, if not, I think that could go either way.
Definitely the biggest mystery to me is like, can Sean Payton unlock Russell Wilson just to get anything out of him? That's going to be very interesting.
I definitely think they're losing against Buffalo. Then they go to Eagles. I'm hoping that the Eagles crush that one. The Bears, I don't know. I mean, the Bears, Justin Fields, I think that's kind of air. They were the worst team last year.
You saw so much promise in their offense, and you see that they also went out, got some wide receivers. I could see them improving really quickly. There were a couple of times where on offense they looked unstoppable. Now they didn't look good enough to like go to the playoffs, but there definitely some. You just see if Fields can figure it out. He has such dynamic athleticism that it really, really could change a game.
DraftKings thinks that he's going to have a bounce back this year, so they gave the Chicago like 7.5 for the year.
I can see that.
Okay, at the Falcons, I don't know. I think that they have it.
Listen, I am the biggest fan in the world of Bijan Robinson, and taking him at 8 was fucking lunacy. Taking a running back with the 8th pick in the draft is insanity. I don't understand. Again, hook 'em horns. Incredible. He's going to be amazing. The problem is you're going to see some other amazing running backs come out as well, and oh my God. Of course, I wish the Cowboys would have gotten him, at 20 or something like that. But to take him at 8 was madness, man. And here's the thing. Bijan Robinson will probably lead the league in rushing this year. It's still not worth the 8th pick in the draft when he won't even be on your.
He's definitely going to be a really good rookie for them.
For sure, but he won't even be on your team in 5 years. That's what happens to running backs.
Let's see, Bears, Falcons, Giants. So for Giants, I don't know. I think the Giants could probably beat the Commanders.
Yep.
And then Commanders. Eagles go to them. I'm hoping the Eagles can beat them. The Commanders go to the Patriots. Yeah, I really don't know what to expect from the Patriots.
I'm going to say right now, I'm not gonna pick the Commanders to win any more of these games. Like the only
Patriots,
ones. No. Yeah, I could see them maybe getting one against the Cowboys accidentally, like at the end of the year if the Cowboys have a position locked up, and I could see them maybe beating the Patriots if the Patriots turn out to beat.
So Seahawks, you think the Seahawks will beat the Commanders?
I just don't know, man, because I don't know if Geno's real or not. I just don't know if what I saw from Geno's not.
Do what he did last year this year. Giants, so Dallas, maybe they'll get one of the wins, maybe. Dolphins, I feel like the Dolphins could beat the Commanders.
Yep.
Then they have a bye.
So as far as the Commanders over under 7.5, I'm going to say under.
Yeah, because I don't think they're beating the 49ers. I don't know about the Jets. The Rams is a toss-up, and then the Cowboys. So for that, I mean, I definitely think that it's going to be really between the Eagles and Dallas on who takes the NFC East, and then maybe the Giants will stand the chance for the wild card spot if possible. I mean, last year we had 3 people.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting year coming up. Like I said, the biggest mysteries for me is whether or not those 22 sexual assault charges catch up with the Browns quarterback, and then whether or not they can unlock the Broncos quarterback. Those are going to be the big ones for me. I'm really interested to see if Odell Beckham has anything left, because to be honestly, my vibe was that he has nothing, and the reason why teams weren't signing him was because of that. And I'll make you a bet: Zeke Elliott does not have one snap in the NFL this year. I think the Cowboys were vastly overrating him. When you listen to Steven and Jerry talk about, he meant so much to this team. I think they should have gotten rid of Zeke Elliott 2 or 3 years ago, and I think he's beyond. He is the worst starting quarterback, the worst starting running back in the NFL, and I don't think he's going to play for another team this year. I know a lot of people are saying that in Dallas they're going to re-sign him like they would never re-sign him. Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, well, thank you, Michael, for coming on the show. Everything, and we'll have to talk definitely about
if you want to get further offended, just check out the Michael Sartain podcast, or you can check me out on Instagram at Michael Sartain if you guys are looking for any of that kind of stuff. I do male performance coaching. It's extremely offensive if you guys want to come check it out.
But it's also very worthwhile.
If it's worthwhile. Listen, if you want the truth, come to me. If you want to cry, come to me. If you want somebody to rub your back and tell you everything's going to be okay, find somebody else. But yeah, you guys can check me out there. I'm always going to have some outrageous opinions on football and basketball too.
Yeah, all law sports. Awesome. Thank you.
Take care, guys.